Europe isn't collapsing, but something is quietly changing. For more than a century, Europe was where many of the world's biggest companies were built. The brightest engineers came here. Investors came here. Manufacturers came here. If you wanted to build the future, Europe was the place to do it. Today, that future is being built somewhere else. New factories, AI megaprojects, semiconductor plants, entire smart cities, they're rising outside Europe. So what changed? Why are countries like India, Vietnam, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia attracting billions in investment, while much of Europe is struggling to keep its competitive edge? Because the countries winning the future aren't the ones most people expect. The shift didn't happen overnight. It happened one decision at a time. While much of Europe focused on protecting the industries that made it rich, other countries were busy building the industries of the future. Artificial intelligence is paving the way. Semiconductors power the new global economy. Advanced manufacturing drives the future of growth. Clean energy, massive infrastructure, and perhaps the biggest advantage of all, speed. While some governments were approving billion-dollar projects in just a few months, others were still debating them years later. In today's economy, speed isn't just an advantage. In the modern world, it's everything. For years, the world kept hearing the same prediction. America is declining. Its best days are behind it. China will take its place. A new economic order is coming. But then, something unexpected happened. Instead of slowing down, America became the center of the biggest technological revolution since the internet. Artificial intelligence, advanced semiconductors, humanoid robots, the foundational technologies of a new era. Private space companies, rocket launches, satellite deployment, quantum computing laboratories, the world's biggest investors poured hundreds of billions of dollars into the companies building the future. Venture capital flowing into the next generation of American startups. Massive investments in AI infrastructure. And once again, the world found itself looking toward America. But America isn't the biggest surprise in the story. That title belongs to a country few people expected. In 1991, India was almost bankrupt. The government had only enough foreign currency to keep the country running for a few weeks. It became so desperate that it flew tons of gold to Europe as collateral for emergency loans. Most people believed India would spend decades trying to recover. Instead, the nation found a new path. And then it rewrote its economic future. Today, India has the world's largest population. It's producing millions of engineers. Global giants like Apple are expanding manufacturing there. Companies looking to reduce their dependence on China are moving factories to India. And while much of Europe struggles with aging populations and slow economic growth, India adds millions of working-age people to its economy every single year. That gives it something many developed countries can't easily replace. It is momentum. 50 years ago, Vietnam was a country devastated by war. Millions of people had died. Entire cities lay in ruins. Few believed Vietnam would ever become an economic success. But today, some of the world's biggest companies are moving their factories there. Samsung manufactures a huge share of its smartphones in Vietnam. Apple suppliers are expanding across the country. And every time another company looks for an alternative to China, Vietnam is near the top of the list. Why? Because Vietnam offers something every manufacturer wants. Competitive labor costs, a growing skilled workforce, modern ports, trade agreements with major global markets. While many developed economies are struggling with rising costs, Vietnam has quietly become one of the world's fastest-growing manufacturing hubs. Sometimes, the biggest winners are the countries nobody was watching. 50 years ago, Dubai was little more than a small trading port surrounded by desert. There were no skyscrapers, no luxury hotels, no financial centers. Few people imagined that one day this city would compete with London, Singapore, or Hong Kong. But while many oil-producing nations depended almost entirely on crude exports, the leaders of the UAE made a different bet. They knew oil wouldn't last forever. So instead of waiting for the future, they started building it. They invested in world-class infrastructure, global aviation, finance, tourism, technology, and now artificial intelligence. Today, more than 90% of Dubai's economy comes from sectors other than oil. It is home to one of the world's busiest airports, one of the busiest container ports, and one of the fastest-growing hubs for entrepreneurs, investors, and global businesses. Companies from every continent use Dubai as a gateway between Europe, Asia, and Africa. In less than half a century, Dubai went from a quiet desert trading town to one of the world's most influential business capitals. But Dubai had one advantage. Oil helped finance its transformation. The next country had almost none. No oil, no gas, very little land, and yet, it became one of the richest and most competitive economies on Earth. Singapore's story may be even more remarkable, but Dubai had one advantage. Oil helped finance its transformation. Singapore had no such luxury. When Singapore became independent in 1965, and many believed that it wouldn't survive, the country had almost no natural resources. They had very little land to work with, and they had no oil, and they had no gas, not even enough fresh water to meet all of its own needs. By all accounts, Singapore should have failed, but instead of failing, they transformed. It became one of the richest countries in the world. But how did they do it? By investing in something far more valuable than natural resources. They chose to invest in their people, and they invested heavily in education. They built world-class ports that connected them to the world. They became a hub for global finance, one of the most business-friendly economies on Earth. Today, Singapore is one of the world's leading financial centers, one of the busiest shipping hubs on the planet, and home to thousands of multinational companies that use the city as their gateway to Asia. Singapore proved that in the 21st century, a country's greatest resource isn't what's beneath the ground. It's the talent, the ideas, and the businesses it can attract. And that's exactly where the global race is heading. But there's one final question. Does all of this mean Europe is really falling behind? So, does all of this mean Europe is losing the future? Not exactly. Europe is still one of the richest regions on Earth. It is home to world-leading companies, some of the world's best universities, and industries that continue to set global standards. But history shows something important. Economic leadership is never permanent. The countries leading the world today are rarely the same countries leading it 50 years later. What matters isn't how rich a nation was yesterday. It's how quickly it can adapt to tomorrow. And right now, countries like India, Vietnam, the United Arab Emirates, and Singapore are adapting at extraordinary speed. The race for the future isn't over. In many ways, it's only just beginning. And this time, the winners may not be the countries most people expect. History has never stood still. Every generation believes the world's economic map is permanent. But the reality is, it never is. 100 years ago, few people imagined that the United States would become the world's dominant economy. 30 years ago, almost no one believed countries like Vietnam, the United Arab Emirates, or Singapore would become global success stories. And today, new economic powers are rising once again. So perhaps the real question isn't whether Europe is declining, or which country will dominate next. The real question is, which nation is making the smartest decisions today for the world of tomorrow? Because the future isn't something we inherit. It's something we build. And that story is still being written.